Fellas, if our voices sounding funky today, I've got a cold and our throat feels terrible. With that being said though, we gotta talk about No Time to Explain. Now what I'm about to say probably won't surprise you, but No Time is actually meta, and more so than what it was before. You see, No Time, alongside other high impact pulse rifles, got the buff in update 6.3.0, which is why it has felt so good. This is the best No Time to Explain has ever felt to me. Now let me just touch on a few patch notes in regards to No Time to Explain. If you remember back in update 6.2.5, they actually reduced the recoil direction from 90 to 73, and they reduced the aim assist from 45 to 40. Now, this change actually did result in the usage of No Time to Explain to drop off. It was literally like the #1 weapon for so many weekends in a row, and then eventually dropped down to like the top 5, and then some weekends completely dropped off the top of the list. Granted, a lot of this is very much dictated by the map, but needless to say, Bungie's nerf here was effective. However, in update 6.3.0, Bungie did two things that really benefited No Time to Explain. Number one, since full auto actually became an accessibility feature within Destiny 2, they replaced the full auto trigger system for No Time to Explain with Feeding Frenzy. This was a very, very nice buff, but the biggest one was the high impact frame intrinsic perk buff. Specifically stated by Bungie, the high impact frame intrinsic perk can be hard to use since it switches off with little movement. Now we've tweaked this so that slow movement, for example, crouching and strafing, doesn't deactivate the perk. Now allows a small amount of movement instead of turning off with any movement. Now, if you actually go and look at all high impact weapons, intrinsically they state that it's slow firing and high damage. The weapon is more accurate when stationary, moving slowly, and aiming down sights. Back in the day, I actually associated this perk with that of Firmly Planted, where really it seemed like it only activated when standing completely still or while crouching. But it also said that it would deactivate the moment you really even started moving, which was extremely annoying. And even though high impact pulse rifles are very, very good, considering they have arguably the fastest time to kill in the game at 0.67 seconds, A, it required all crits, and B, you could not really strafe. Now though, oh, you can strafe, you can move, you can actually be mobile with your high impact pulse rifles. And No Time to Explain is a part of that, because this weapon, even though it doesn't intrinsically have that high impact frame readout, has benefited from this change. This is the most accurate this weapon has ever felt to me, guys. And No Time already felt so good, even after the nerfs. But there's a reason why you're seeing it at the top of the list on trial support this season. And you're probably going to see it more now that people are recognizing that this weapon also got buffed alongside other high impacts. Now, some questions surrounding Feeding Frenzy, which by the way is a very good trait. We're talking reload buffs at stacks, starting at 10 reload speed, amping all the way up to 100 at 5 stacks. It's got a good duration. The question that I was wondering, does the time chasm proc Feeding Frenzy? Again, guys, the intrinsic perk on No Time to Explain states that precision shots and shots against combatants slowed or frozen by stasis will return to the magazine. And the trait is Time Slip, where at stacks of 10 of Rewind Again, a small portal will open, shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon. Precision hits actually extend the portal's duration. The question that I had was, considering Feeding Frenzy states that each rapid kill with this weapon progressively increases reload speed for a short time, I was not seeing Feeding Frenzy being procced from the portal. So just something to answer there, guys. Again, is it that big of a deal? No. But I will say Feeding Frenzy on this weapon is a pretty good touch. And again, whether you're using No Time to Explain in PvE or PvP, the Exotic Catalyst is fantastic, where you get the perk Blast from the side, projectiles from the time portal shoot more frequently. Now this season, you've probably seen it inside of PvP. There are so many Titans popping barricades, literally playing Fortnite out here. And we did our review the other day on Disparity. The combination of it being a Hake weapon, and when you combine that with anti-barrier rounds, this actually shreds barricades very effectively. No Time to Explain here doesn't quite have that shredding capabilities, but you can still combine it with anti-barrier rounds to combat barricade Titans, and especially Sign Titans. All around, guys, No Time to Explain is feeling phenomenal inside of PvP, better than it's ever felt. I know Bungie nerfed the recoil direction, putting it at 73, but even at 73, it's still vertical enough. And the aim assist drop off from 45 to 40, that to me is not that substantial. Fellas, just rock an extra pulse rifle targeting mod and you'll make up that difference. The fact that this weapon has up to 39 meters of range, a time to kill value of 0.67 seconds, I personally, when comparing it to other high impacts, I think No Time lands more 2 bursts than any of them. Granted, I really need to play with both Stars and Shadow and the Messenger, especially a Headseeker row on the Messenger, but the amount of consistent 2 bursts that you can achieve with No Time to Explain is mind-blowing. Despite the nerfs you've seen here on paper, all I can tell you guys is No Time is performing better than it's ever performed. On top of that, your little portal buddy that you're spawning in, dude, that right there trims off so much extra damage in 1v1s inside of PvP, it's nuts. The amount of forgiveness it adds. It literally allows some of your crit shots to be converted to body shots because the damage that it puts out makes up the difference, and it aggressively tracks. Again, my biggest complaint with No Time to Explain was that in the past, it felt like a weapon that was meant for laning Larrys, the guys that sit in the back of the map. And I'm not saying that those people don't benefit from using No Time to Explain, but now I feel like I can play as aggressively as I want with No Time. Whether it's in trials or 6v6, this is a dominant weapon. And I know it was very much a part of the meta last season or earlier on in the season before it's nerfed, but where it is now, it is the meta. Now, we will be actually reviewing other high impact pulse rifles. One of them will be the Messenger, of course. The other one is actually New Purpose. That's actually the Duality high impact pulse rifle. A lot of people are saying that it's feeling phenomenal now. Again, this small little subtle change allows you to move more with all of these weapons, whereas before you had to be so still. I feel like every time I moved just a little bit, or when I came out of my crouch to standing or back into my crouch, this just threw the aim off. But as you see here from a lot of this gameplay, I'm able to push up and play very aggressively with No Time. Now, you probably see lots of in-air gameplay. No Time actually has a decent airborne effectiveness rate of 24. And even though I don't really care for AE, it's a reality as of now, and I know it's going to be getting reworked next season where primary weapons are supposed to have better AE overall. But No Time, especially when you combine it with the in-flight compensator artifact mod, it has pretty decent in-air accuracy, like better than that of like Messenger. Granted, you can throw on an Icarus mod for Messenger. Now, Cross, are there some other weapons that benefited from the high impact changes? Actually, yes. One of them is Vigilance Wing, which we're going to be reviewing here next. We actually used it inside of trials. We also used it inside of 6v6. Guys, Vigilance Wing is feeling better than it's ever felt before. Again, we'll be doing a complete breakdown of that one because it actually got a trait traded out. It has ensemble on it now instead of full auto. No lie, Vigilance Wing felt really, really good. I think in 1v1 scenarios though, No Time is still king. Again, 0.67 time to kill value. That's stupid fast, guys. Our hand cannons, they all sit around 0.8 plus. Auto rifles, the lowest auto rifles get is 0.77, and that's like all crits on rapid fires. Sidearms actually reach down to that 0.6 territory, but considering how close you have to be with a sidearm, that's what makes these high impact pulse rifles so dang good. They can achieve this from crazy ranges, 40 meters. Like, I don't necessarily want to just run around with the meta all the time, but if I see people rocking No Time to Explain in literally every PvP activity, guys, I can't blame you. It's just that good. So fellas, try it out this weekend for trials. Try it out in regular 6v6. The weapon is performing better than ever. Do I foresee a high impact pulse rifle nerf coming in the future? I actually do. I think it's going to happen, guys. Granted, I know that DMT is definitely popping off the most in regards to long range weaponry, but No Time is definitely up there. And I think the reason why No Time is not all the way up there, going neck to neck with Dead Man's Tale, at least for last week's Trials of Osiris when we had Burnout. Trials report is not currently updating for this week for me, but maybe by the time this video posts, it'll be up there. But I think as more people start to see that No Time to Explain got a buff outside of just feeding Frenzy, that it actually got an accuracy and consistency buff, you're going to see those numbers start to level out. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.